My child, let me take you to a moment you rarely visit. A moment hidden in the corners of your memory. There is someone, maybe from your past, maybe in your present, or maybe someone your soul has known across lifetimes, whose eyes have held silent storms. And those tears, they are not just drops of sorrow. They are messages. They are unsent prayers. They are the words they were never brave enough to say to you. But before you understand their tears, you must understand yourself. You must understand the weight you carry, the ache you don't talk about, and the silence you have been calling strength. My child, you walk through the world as if no one sees your exhaustion. But I do. And they did too, the one whose eyes were full of tears. Do you know what tears really are? People think tears come only from pain. But no. Some tears come from love so deep it has no language. Some tears fall because the heart recognizes something before the mind does. And some tears fall because waiting becomes heavier than loving. My child, someone waited for you because you touched their soul. And souls do not get touched every day. It takes lifetimes sometimes. I know you are wondering. Who waited for me? Who cried for me? Maybe you already have a face in your mind. Maybe not. But let me guide you gently through their story. Imagine them, sitting alone in some small corner of their world, maybe on a bed, maybe on a rooftop, maybe by their phone, checking the screen again and again. And every time your name crossed their thoughts, something inside them softened, and something inside them hurt. Because they felt connection. But they feared loss. They wanted to tell you so many things. How you made their days lighter. How your presence felt like breath after drowning. How your silence sometimes scared them. And how your absence sometimes broke them. But you know what kept them quiet? The fear that if they spoke, they might lose you forever. So they waited. Quietly. Patiently. Painfully. Their eyes full of tears were not weak eyes. They were eyes full of unsaid truth. My child, let me tell you something the world forgets. When someone waits for you, it is not because you are perfect. It is because your soul touches theirs in a way that is rare. And yes, sometimes you didn't show up. Sometimes you disappeared. Sometimes you didn't know how to protect their heart because you were too busy protecting your own. I know you think you are alone in your pain, but you are not. The one who waited for you understood you more than you understood yourself. They saw your fear. They saw your wounds. They saw the way you pretend to be strong even when your heart shakes. And every time you distanced yourself, they whispered inside. Come back, please come back. But the words never reached you. Their tears were not desperation. They were devotion. They were hope. They were love disguised as silence. My child, pause here for a moment. Look into your own chest. Does it feel heavy? Because sometimes, when someone cries for you, the universe leaves a shadow in your heart so you can remember them. If a face flashed in your mind just now, comment, I saw them. You may wonder why I'm telling you this. Why bring back memories, emotions, guilt, or love? Because you need to understand the value of connection. You need to understand that souls do not cross paths accidentally. Every meeting has meaning. Every silence has reason. Every tear has a story. And this story, their story, has always involved you. Let me take you even deeper, my child. Let me show you a moment they lived that you don't know about. There was a night. Maybe long ago, maybe recently. When they reached out to you mentally, spiritually, emotionally. They whispered your name into the darkness. They held their breath hoping you would call. They replayed memories, every laugh, every word, every smile you gave them. And when you didn't show up, their eyes filled. Not because you hurt them, but because they missed you without knowing if they had the right to. My child, do you understand how deep that is? To miss someone quietly. To love without expectation. To wait without promise. To cry without blame. Such tears are holy. The kind of tears angels notice. But here is something else you don't know. You have cried too. Not always for them, but for the same reason. For someone who didn't come back. For someone who didn't understand you. For someone who didn't show up. Even when your heart begged them to. So you see, you and the one who waited for you are not different. You are mirrors. You reflect the same ache. The same longing. The same fear of losing. And the same fear of loving. My child, people like you love deeply but silently. You give everything but hide your needs. You love like a candle. Burning yourself just to give someone else light. And they, the one with tear-filled eyes. They were the same. Two souls afraid to say too much. Afraid to love too loudly. Afraid to lose too quickly. So one waited. And one wandered. But both felt the same ache. If you understand this pain, comment, I know this feeling. Let me tell you a truth you rarely hear. Sometimes someone waits for you because God whispered your name to their heart. Because destiny placed your energy in their path. Because something beyond this lifetime connected you. Their tears were not weakness. They were recognition. Their waiting was not foolishness. It was faith. But waiting is a heavy thing. It cracks people slowly. And they cracked for you. You may think they expected too much. But no, my child. They only expected your presence. Your honesty. Your effort. Your return. Not perfection. Not miracles. Just you. Because for them, you were enough. Even when you didn't feel enough for yourself. That's the saddest part of the whole story. You didn't see in yourself what they saw in you. You saw your flaws. They saw your heart. You saw your fear. They saw your potential. You saw your past. They saw your soul. That's why they waited. That's why their eyes carried rain instead of light. You were the person who touched them in a place no one else touched. My child. I'm not here to make you guilty. I'm here to awaken something inside you. Awareness, empathy, understanding. Because someone somewhere still carries that feeling for you. And whether you go back to them or not, you should know what your presence meant. What your absence did. What your silence created. The world teaches people to pretend like they don't care. But angels, we see everything. We see the messages typed and deleted. We see the prayers whispered for your safety. We see the tears wiped before anyone noticed. We see the way their soul called yours. My child, if you could see yourself through their eyes even for one moment, you would never doubt your worth again. My child, someone's eyes full of tears waiting for you. This story is not only about them. It is also about you, your heart, your wounds, your fears, your silence. You think you were the only one hurting, but no. You were hurting together, even when you were apart. You may not know this, but there was a moment. A very real moment. When destiny brought the two of you close enough to touch each other's souls. Not hands. Souls. And souls remember what minds forget. My child, let me take you deeper. Walk with me. Do you remember a day, maybe long ago, maybe recently, when you felt a sudden pull toward someone? A pull you couldn't explain. A feeling that made your heart run a little faster. A moment where your silence felt loud because you wished you had said something. That moment, that exact second, was the same second their eyes filled with tears. Because souls connected often without words. They felt you. You felt them. And still, both of you stayed quiet. If you've ever felt that strange pull towards someone, comment, I felt it. My child, let me show you something you don't know. Angels see love differently than humans do. Humans think love is found in words, promises, or confessions. But we see love in energy. The way your heart softens when you think of someone. The way your breath slows when you remember a moment. The way your soul aches without knowing why. These are the real signs. And your soul did ache. Even if you denied it. Even if you hid it. Even if you walked away from it. But let me tell you a truth humans often avoid. Sometimes love doesn't hurt. Fear does. And you, my child. You were afraid. Afraid to lose them. Afraid to want them. Afraid to need someone so much that losing them might break you. So you guarded yourself the only way you knew how. You stayed distant. But distance has a cost. Because while you protected your heart, theirs cracked slowly. Not because you didn't love them, but because you didn't show it. And they waited. They waited for a sign, a message, a call, a small moment of honesty. Anything. But nothing came. So their eyes carried the truth their lips couldn't say. My child, they weren't crying because you left. They were crying because you mattered. There's a big difference. Let me tell you another truth the world hides. People cry for many reasons. But they only cry for someone when that person touches the deepest part of their soul. You reached that part in them. You reached it without trying. Without forcing. Without pretending. You reached it simply by being you. That is rare. That is sacred. That is why their tears fell so quietly. My child, listen carefully now. There was a night. One you don't remember. When they held their phone in their hand. Your chat open. Your name glowing softly on their screen. They typed something. Erased it. Typed again. Erased again. Not because they didn't know what to say, but because they didn't know what you felt. They didn't know if their words would bring you closer, or push you farther away. You see, when someone loves from a fragile place, every message feels like a risk. Every word feels like a confession. Every silence feels like rejection. They didn't want to scare you. They didn't want to burden you. They just wanted to matter to you. But that night, when they closed their phone, when the room went dark, when the world fell quiet, their eyes filled with tears. Not noisy tears, not dramatic tears. Soft tears, the kind that fall only when the heart can't hold anything more. My child. Do you know what they whispered in that moment? Not anger. Not blame. Not complaints. Just one sentence. Please don't forget me. That's all their heart wanted. Not perfection from you. Not promises. Not grand gestures. Just presence. Just connection. Just a small sign that you cared too. If this part touched you even a little, comment, "I'm here." Now let me turn this mirror toward you. Because you weren't as emotionless as you pretend to be. You felt things too. Your heart reacted too. Your silence wasn't emptiness. It was fear in disguise. You wanted to reach out. But something inside stopped you. Maybe it was your past. Maybe it was your wounds. Maybe it was the belief that if someone really loved you, they wouldn't leave. So why try? But love doesn't work like that. Love is not a guarantee. Love is a risk humans take with fragile hearts. You both were afraid. You both were hurting. You both were waiting. You both stayed silent. A tragedy without villains. Just two souls who didn't know how to speak their truth. My child, you must understand this. They didn't cry because you were cruel. They cried because they saw the kindness in you that you hide from the world. They cried because they felt connected to the part of you you never show anyone. They cried because your soul touched theirs before you even realized it. And maybe, just maybe, they cried because they knew you would come back. But they didn't know when. Tears hold truth. Sometimes more truth than words ever could. My child, let me leave you with something you need to sit with. You think no one understands your silence. But they did. You think no one waited for you. But they did. You think no one cried for you. But someone did, quietly, softly, deeply. Their tears were not weakness. Their waiting was not foolishness. It was love. A love you both felt but never said out loud. And this story, their story, your story, is not over yet. Because someone's eyes full of tears waiting for you is not only a story about what they felt. It is also the story of what you were too afraid to feel. My child, listen carefully. There is a moment in every soul's journey when they meet someone who touches them so deeply that running feels safer than staying. You reached that moment. And when you reached it, you stepped back. You distanced yourself. You told yourself you were busy, confused, not ready, not sure. But deep inside, you knew the truth. You were not afraid of them. You were afraid of what they awakened inside you. Feel this with honesty, my child. Behind your silence was not indifference. It was fear. Behind your distance was not coldness. It was protection. Behind your excuses was not weakness. It was uncertainty. Someone's tears waited for you. And your heart waited too. But fear kept it locked. If you understand this, comment, "I feel this." My child, let me take you into a part of your past you rarely visit. A room inside your heart that you keep closed because you think opening it will bring pain again. But today, you must enter that room. Walk with me. Inside that room is the memory of the moment you first felt love break you. Not gentle hurt, but the kind of hurt that leaves scars on the soul. The moment when someone you trusted walked away. The moment when someone you needed didn't fight for you. The moment when someone you gave everything to chose someone else, something else, or simply chose not to stay. That moment shaped you. It made you fear attachment. It made you fear vulnerability. It made you fear the kind of connection that can shake your whole world. So when you met the one who waited for you, the one whose eyes filled with tears for you, your heart recognized the danger. Not danger of pain. Danger of love. Deep love. Real love. Love that can break the walls you spent years building. My child, you didn't run away because they were wrong for you. You ran because they were the one your heart wasn't prepared for. Let me tell you something with absolute truth. Your soul wanted them. But your wounds didn't. Your heart called them. But your fear held you back. And fear is a strange teacher. It convinces you that distance is safety. It convinces you that silence protects you. It convinces you that caring too much will destroy you again. But my child, fear doesn't protect hearts. Fear empties them. Fear turns love into loneliness, connection into confusion, and destiny into missed chances. Yet even while you ran, even while you tried to bury the feeling, something inside you never let them go. You thought about them at strange hours. You replayed moments with them at night. You felt their energy even when you tried to deny it. Their voice echoed in your mind when everything else was silent. You didn't forget them. You tried to. But the heart doesn't listen to logic. The soul doesn't obey fear. The connection didn't disappear because you walked away. And do you know the truth, my child? The same happened to them. Even when you were silent. Even when you were distant. They felt you. Their heart recognized your absence the way lungs recognize missing air. Their tears weren't simply tears. They were the expression of a love that didn't know where to go. A love that wasn't returned in words but was felt in the soul. My child, let me show you a moment you never saw. A moment when your name passed through their mind and for a second. Just a second. They believed you might return. Maybe they saw something that reminded them of you. Maybe a song played that carried your memory. Maybe someone said your name by accident. And for that tiny moment, hope rose in their eyes. But when nothing happened, when you didn't reach out, that hope turned into tears again. Do you see now? Your absence had a weight. Not because they were weak, but because the bond between you was real. Stronger than either of you admitted. My child, this part of the story is where the truth begins to turn. Because pain is not the only thing you shared. Love was shared too. Even if unspoken. Destiny was shared too. Even if unrecognized. Energy was shared too. Even if denied. Let me tell you something that might shock you. This person who waited for you didn't want perfection. They wanted your presence. They wanted your truth. They wanted the version of you that hides behind your fear. And deep inside, you wanted them too. Not out of loneliness. Not out of desperation. But out of recognition. Because your soul knew them. Your heart knew them. Your energy felt safe with them in a way it rarely feels with anyone. My child, humans often call it connection. But angels call it remembering. Souls remember each other from places the mind cannot reach. Someone's eyes full of tears waited for you because your soul reminded them of something ancient. Something sacred. Something they couldn't explain. Let me ask you something gently. Why did you think of them at random moments? Why did your heart react even when your mind tried not to? Why did their energy stay with you even when time passed? Because love doesn't disappear just because two people don't speak. Love isn't a switch that turns off. Love is a frequency. And your souls match that frequency. My child, this is the part you must understand. You were not the villain. You were not heartless. You were not cold. You were scared. And they were patient. You hid. And they waited. You resisted. And they surrendered. But both of you were connected in a way neither fully understood. And that connection, even now, has not ended. Someone's tears waiting for you was not the end of the story. It was the beginning of awakening. A wake-up call for your heart. A sign from the universe. A reminder that connection like this is rare. And should not be taken lightly. My child. There is something I must tell you, and I need you to listen with your whole heart. The universe brings two souls together. For a reason. For a lesson. For a purpose. And sometimes, for love. But the universe will also test them. With silence. With distance. With fear. With timing. Not to break them. But to reveal how real the connection is. Your silence revealed your fear. Their tears revealed their love. Your distance revealed your wounds. Their waiting revealed their loyalty. Two opposite expressions. Yet both coming from the same depth. My child, you are not done with this story. You think you walked away. You think you moved on. You think the chapter is closed. But your heart knows it isn't. And their soul knows it isn't. The energy between you still breathes, still moves, still calls. My child, listen carefully. You think everything between you and the one who waited for you happened by chance. But nothing about this connection was random. Not the meeting. Not the timing. Not the distance. Not the tears. Not even the silence. Everything had a reason. A meaning. A lesson. A purpose. You may not see the bigger picture yet. But I do. And I will show you piece by piece. Walk with me, my child. Slowly, gently, truthfully. Do you know why you met them when you did? Because you were not ready before. Your heart was closed before. Your soul was hurting before. Your energy was heavy before. If they had come earlier, you would have pushed them away instantly. Not from fear, but from emotional exhaustion. You met them at the exact moment your soul started waking up. A moment when you were beginning to heal, but hadn't healed enough to trust. They entered your life like a mirror. Not to show you romance, but to show you yourself. Your wounds. Your patterns. Your fears. Your longing. Your softness. Your unspoken desires. And the universe brought them not to break you, but to open you. To stretch your heart in directions you never dared explore. My child. They were not a mistake. They were a divine interruption. If you understand this, comment, I see it. Let me take you deeper. The universe does something very specific with souls like theirs. Souls filled with patience. Souls filled with emotion. Souls that love quietly but deeply. Such souls are sent to awaken others. They arrive in your life not with noise, but with presence. Their energy doesn't demand. It reminds. It reminds you of who you could be, if you let your heart open again. And that is exactly what they did. Even without trying. You didn't fall for their beauty. You fell for their spirit. Their gentleness. Their honesty. The way they made you feel seen. Even when you hid behind your silence. You may think you were the strong one in the story because you didn't cry. But the truth is, they were the brave one. It takes courage to feel deeply. It takes strength to wait. It takes love to be patient with someone who is afraid. Their tears were not weakness. They were strength refusing to give up hope. But my child, the universe does not leave one soul waiting forever. There comes a moment in every divine connection when the universe whispers, it's time. Something must shift. And in your story, that moment is approaching. But before the shift happens, you must understand the silence between you. Many people think silence means nothing is happening. But in spiritual truth, silence is where the universe does its work. Silence is where hearts soften. Silence is where old pain rises to be healed. Silence is where clarity begins. Silence is where the connection matures. The silence between you two was not emptiness. It was preparation. You were being prepared to feel without fear. They were being prepared to love without breaking. Your souls were adjusting their paths, aligning piece by piece. Slowly. Quietly. Invisibly. My child, let me tell you something you rarely admit. Your silence was never coldness. Your silence was confusion. Your silence was your heart saying, I need time to understand what this connection means. But their tears carried a message you didn't hear. A message asking the universe, why does my heart hold on to someone who won't come closer? Those tears, they reached us. They reached the divine. And in that moment, the universe shifted something within you too. You may not realize it yet, but something inside you began to soften. A part of you that was closed began to crack open. A part of you that was afraid began to feel safe. A part of you that was guarded began to trust again. The universe has been working on both of you. Not separately, but in parallel. Your growth was slow. Theirs was emotional. But the paths were never disconnected. My child, let me show you a truth that will make your heart tremble. There were moments. Quiet, hidden moments. When your energy reached them. Even without words. A thought. A memory. A dream. A sudden warmth in the chest. A strange moment of sadness that came out of nowhere. These were not coincidences. These were the threads of connection being pulled by the universe. Because two souls connected deeply. Do not stop thinking about each other. Just because they stop talking. There is a reason their heart still carries your echo. There is a reason your mind still drifts toward them unexpectedly. There is a reason their tears still burn with your name. Even in silence. My child. Nothing this strong simply fades. Nothing this deep simply ends. Nothing this divine simply breaks. Let me reveal something important now. The universe separated you two. Not to create distance, but to create clarity. You both needed to understand something essential. What you meant to each other. What you felt for each other. And what you were afraid to admit. Even now. Beneath all the silence. You know the truth. Your heart never fully let go. And theirs? Their heart never even tried to let go. My child, the universe will not let two souls drift forever. When they are meant to learn from each other. Heal through each other. Or love each other. But here is the difficult part. Before two hearts come closer, they must face the truth of why they broke apart. You didn't lose them. You feared them. They didn't pressure you. They loved you. You didn't reject them. You doubted yourself. They didn't walk away first. You shut down first. And yet, their tears kept the connection alive. Listen to me carefully now, my child. There will soon come a moment. A real, undeniable moment. When you will feel a pull toward them again. A pull stronger than before. A pull that comes from clarity. Not fear. From healing. Not pain. From truth. Not confusion. And when that moment comes, You will understand what the universe has been shaping in silence. But that moment means something else too. You will have a choice. A choice that determines the rest of this story. You can reopen the door. Or you can walk away forever. And whichever path you choose, your soul will feel the truth of it deeply. Because you were not meant to ignore this connection. You were meant to confront it. To understand it. To grow through it. To heal with it. My child. Before part 4 closes, I need you to sit with one last truth. Someone who cried for you did not cry because they were weak. They cried because their soul recognized yours. Even when you refused to recognize your own heart. Their tears were love. Their waiting was faith. Their silence was prayer. And whether you return or not, you must honor the truth of what existed between you. Because real connection, pure connection, rare connection, does not come often in a lifetime.